What's going on? It's your boy Sermon at Sermon's Domain on Twitter. Daredevil Season 2 premiered this past Friday on Netflix, and just like millions of Americans across the world, I binge watched it. I don't think I really need to say this, but spoilers ahead. I just wanted to do a little video discussing how I felt about it, what was amazing, what wasn't that good. And to be honest, there wasn't much that wasn't good. I think the only thing I really had an issue with was Elektra's story kind of started off a little bit, boring and slow, but it did really evolve into one of the stronger points of the season. The one thing that was really good about this one compared to season 1 was the fact that there was multiple arcs. The first few episodes revolved around the Punisher, and then we got into Elektra's story with, Punisher's trial still there. And then we saw the return of the Kingpin for a little bit. And of course, you can't forget the Hand and Stick. All these different things that was happening throughout the season. And I think it played better than season 1 just being the main focus on the Kingpin. And I gotta say, John Berthel's portrayal of the Punisher was simply amazing. I might be one of the few people that liked the 2004 Punisher movie, but John blows it right out of the water. It's the best we've seen the Punisher portrayed on a screen ever. I think if he could be nominated for any awards, he deserves every single award. The Punisher is a complex character. Very complex, of like the highest level. He's a killing machine, but he also has an emotional side to him. And I think that the Punisher really captured, I think the series really captured just exactly what that is, who he's supposed to be. Like the interactions between Frank Castle and Daredevil were nothing short of excellent dialogue. In season 3, when they were talking, when Daredevil was tied up, it was a good dialogue. It was kind of contrasting the two. Like Daredevil they're both heroes in a sense. And they're both trying to go towards the same goal, but they have different outlooks on how to achieve that. They both want to stop the city from being overrun with criminals, but Punisher, his ideology is to kill him, versus Daredevil, who just wants to, kind of neutralize him, knock him out. And there was one line in particular that stood out. Punisher was saying to Daredevil, he said, "You hit them and they get back up. I hit them and they stay down." And, that pretty much sums up the differences between the two. And then at the end of, I believe it was episode 4, they had, when they were in the cemetery waiting for the cops. That was a really great scene that kind of showed more of the Punisher's emotional side. And then you gotta go back to episode 3. I think episode 3 and 4 were two of my favorite of the entire season. And in episode 3, we had the epic Dogs of Hell rooftop to the ground floor fight. It's like, how do you top that hallway fight from season 1? And this is exactly how you do it. You start at the rooftop, you put Daredevil with a chain and a gun taped to him, and you just go to hell. I think he was a little more aggressive after the talk that he had with Frank Castle. He seemed a little more aggressive. Obviously, he wasn't going to kill anybody, but he definitely felt more on the aggressive side. And another fight scene that really stood out was, I believe, episode 9. Excuse me if I'm wrong, episode 9 or 10, when Punisher meets Kingpin and he sends him to do his bidding, pretty much. And then he betrays him. Kingpin is like, you know what, I'm going to open up all these gates, and all these inmates are going to try to kill you because they hate you and they don't like you. So that was a really good scene because it captured what the Punisher does. He kills. He goes in. There was a lot of blood. You just seen, stab after stab, blood just going everywhere. And that was easily one of the best Punisher moments of the series that revolved around combat and action. On the personal side, you had the relationship between Foggy and Matt kind of change. I mean, at the end, their firm is no more. Karen is now an investigative journalist. or just a journalist. I don't know if you would call her investigative, even though she had a lot of those elements throughout the season. And I think it made for interesting, when the costumes were off. Just having the fact that Matt can't really juggle the firm and Daredevil as he would like to. I mean, he's missing he's missing dates of the court, of Punisher's trial, and he's just not checking in with Foggy, and he's out all the time, and as a friend you got to be worried about him. So that played well, and I gotta say that Karen Page's character really came out of her shell this season, because in season 1 she felt more along the lines of just like a sidekick, just a little side character here, and then at the end she killed the guy, and now she's pretty much as interesting as everyone else. I mean, her relationship with Punisher was good to explore. Just the fact that the two, like, she believed he wasn't just a killing machine, and Frank also trying, to, or just like disproving that. Like whenever Karen thought that she would see some kind of a progress, it just didn't happen. Unfortunately, as indicated by like the end of the scene when they reveal the blacksmith and Frank gets his hands on him and then just shoots him in the head. And I like the fact that he was able to discover those guns. That was like a very fitting scene to start off like a Punisher series, which I really hope they do in the future, and I don't see why not, because everybody has been raving about John's performance. So there's no doubt in my mind that there will be a Punisher series, and that pretty much like sets it up. Here he has all these different guns, and they kind of show like the minigun, and I thought he was gonna be able to use it in the next episode, but he didn't. So that's something that they got to do in the Punisher series. Let's see what else. I mentioned Wilson Fisk. I like the fact that they brought him back into the fold, because it would have just been a weird season, because Wilson Fisk is not going to keep quiet in jail. Obviously, he's keeping his hands clean. He's having everybody else do his dirty work. But you knew that he was going to try to take over or do something. Because just if he wasn't in the season, it would have just seemed odd. Like, what is he doing? Because we didn't hear from him at all. So it was a nice touch to add him for a couple episodes. And it also helps set up a season 3 if they do it. Between, Matt and Fisk. Just the aggression that Fisk has towards Matt, and it's funny because Fisk also hates Daredevil, and they're the same person. So it's like, you have somebody that hates you so much that wants to destroy both sides of you. Like, that'll make for an interesting season 3, especially if they can kind of wrap around like the storyline from the comics where Matt's secret identity gets revealed, whether it's to Fisk or through the paper, like I believe they did in one of the comics. So that'll be interesting to see. You got to talk about the hand storyline. It was very creepy, and it was a nice touch, a nice end to this season. Seeing Elektra die at the end, but you just knew that it wasn't gonna stand, and the final moments of the season showed us that. I always wondered what was in that Japanese capsule, because the Nobu seemed to really care about that. He was like always standing by it. He made sure everybody was guarding. I thought there was somebody in there already, but no. Now there is somebody in there. It's Elektra. They're going to resurrect her. And again, that'll be another element for season 3 that'll play really well, to see the emotional effect of it on Matt. But overall, I gotta say, this is probably one of the best seasons of a TV series, or a show perhaps, that I'll watch in 2016. I think it could be the best. The writing was excellent. The fight scenes were great. All the storylines, it felt like it could be overwhelming on paper if you saw all this stuff. Punisher, Elektra, Stick, The Hand, Kingpin, just the personal stuff going on between Karen and Matt, Foggy and Matt. All that stuff could be overwhelming, but they made it work in a way that you don't feel overwhelmed. And I gotta say, I'm looking forward to a season 3. I know they gotta do it. They have to. It sucks we gotta wait a year, but at the same time, we got Luke Cage coming. So, that'll be good for the fall. And I would love to know your thoughts on Daredevil season 2. What did you like about it? If there was anything that you didn't like, what didn't you like, talk to me in the comment section below. And then like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, share the video. Follow me on Twitter at Sermons Domain. And as always, thank you for your time. I appreciate you for watching. And until next time, peace.